Good morning, good morning, good morning. Or afternoon, whatever time it is, I'm not even sure. So, I'm back for a second day. If anybody missed what I was talking about yesterday when I was telling my story about what I've been through in Toronto, you can check out the stories. And you could see part one. I posted it on YouTube so that you guys can kind of keep abreast on it and just kind of follow up with what I'm talking about. Essentially, I'm talking about gang stalking, that I've been gang stalked for a year in Toronto. I have felt the need to talk about what I've gone through. I think I've come to terms with what's happened a long time ago. That there was no help that was coming. The police did not help. Anyone, no one helped. So I'm not necessarily telling this story for sympathy or for anybody to think like they need to help me or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I'm not too worried about being followed anymore. I'm really talking about this because I cannot imagine what people are going through that are going through this, and a lot of people are going through this. A lot. That in my 1 year experience, that is what I have come to find out and to figure out. It usually doesn't take a year of gang stalking, and I don't know if, from what I'm feeling, I don't know if there have been other people that have successfully come out of it and walked away. I mean, I find it crazy. I cannot be the first. There must be other people. However, nobody has told a story in everything that I've Googled of it being over. All I hear is stories of, oh, it's been going on for 3 years. Oh, it's been going on for 5 years. And it's like, it's just been going on and on and on. And no one has said it's over. It's done. I've completed that chapter of my life. It's no longer happening. I've never heard of that. I feel like it has for me. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not still trying to still follow me, still track me. I'm definitely still hacked. But that feeling of terror, that feeling of being harassed, that feeling of, and they're definitely still trying stuff. But you know, it's a feeling of I've walked away from that drama. I've walked away from it. So I want to tell my story. If you are watching and you have never experienced such a thing happen in your life and you've never heard of it, please listen so that you don't end up the victim of it. It can happen to anyone. Okay? I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what is going on. Anybody can be a victim of this, and I'll explain why. If you are, I think mainly I'm making it for people who are victims of it, because I wish that when this was happening, I had such a resource myself. I'm mainly doing it for people in Toronto so that they can understand what's going on around them. Even, I think most people this happens to, they don't even know that it's happening. It's that coordinated. It's nothing new. It's a tried and true tested thing that you're in. So yeah, in the first couple videos, I'm just going to tell my story because so much has happened in the course of all of this. So much has happened that it's going to take more than one live to tell this full story. It's going to take a series of lives, and my God, is it crazy. And then I figure once I'm done telling the full story, then I'm going to start giving kind of like tips and tricks on how to avoid this happening to you, what to do if you're in the situation, things like that. I feel like, I hate to say it, in a sense, I almost feel like Jesus, like I died on the cross so that I could come back and tell people like how not to die on that cross. Okay. Cause it is so crazy that I almost want to say the hopes of getting out of it is just low. It's low. I can see why a lot of people gave up and just ended up being recruited. So yesterday we kind of left off, just to summarize what I talked about yesterday. Yesterday, essentially, all I was saying is that I consider this an infection. Um, and this kind of started because I was dating someone. And I believe that whatever they were involved in or whoever they were involved with before wanted me out of the picture. And as a result of them wanting me out of the picture, they hired what I will call gang stalkers to get rid of me. And if you didn't know that was possible, well, now you know. Okay. So it's literally, think of like a movie. Think of like one of those movies where, you know, somebody's being tracked and they paid the homeless man by the side of the street to watch you come in and out. They paid the security guard in your office building. They paid the janitor to look at what time you're going up the escalator to monitor not just your movements, but your schedule, etc., etc. Think of it like that. That's exactly how it works. That's exactly how it works. So essentially I was dating this person. This person was pushed out of my life, or I was pushed out of their life, I should say. And then one would think that once I was successfully out of this person's life, that is where the whole thing should end, that they were successful and I left this person alone and life should go on as it was. And that's not what happened. So in thinking about everything and really processing what was happening, just to continue from where I left off yesterday, after I moved away from this guy, I moved on with my life, grieving, of course, still very upset about the whole breakup, etc., etc. They were approaching me on dating sites. I don't think that's isolated to me. I think that in these types of situations, where it's a woman who was in a man's life and they were trying to get rid of the woman, that they do start approaching her on dating sites. I think that's normal. Or that's standard procedure for that type of situation. I remember somebody coming to my store and I was telling her about like the dating sites or whatnot, and I was telling her, like, we were just having like a casual conversation, and she kind of looked at me and she kind of was like this, like she didn't say anything verbatim like out of her mouth, but she kind of was like shaking her head in like a very worried way at me, like no type of thing. And then she just had a worried look on her face, quickly purchased what she purchased and ran out the store. These kind of little things that happen, when they happen to me, I remember these things. These things are significant to me because it's significant enough that you remember it, because you're just talking to someone about being single and trying to get out there again and dating, and they're looking, and it's like that person kind of, put it this way, it's like having an experience with someone and then you get a little glimpse that they know a lot more than they say they know. So, but when you ask them, they won't say anything. They're like, no, it's okay. But they know more than they're saying. And it's like, it sits with you, that bitter taste in your mouth, and then you take it away and you're like, wait, why would she say that? Dating sites are so normal. Everybody's on dating sites. Like, why would she behave that way? So yeah, I was just meeting a lot of weirdos, a lot of people that seemed to know more about me than I knew. I mean, these were complete strangers to me. Weird guys. They were asking very pointed questions. They would be, like I said, correcting me on my personal details. Like if I said I lived, at 123 Abbott's Lane, they're telling me, no, it's 125 Abbott's Lane that you live at. And you're like, wait, what? How would you know that? And it kind of seemed like, I was being hunted down, to be honest with you. People were searching me out. Women would constantly come to the store and try to be friends. Yeah, girl, we should be friends. We should go for coffee. We should this, we should that. And love bombing. Love bombing is their signature move. All of a sudden, everybody wants to be your friend. All of a sudden, everybody wants to take you out. All of a sudden, people want to give you gifts, etc., etc. So yeah, the part of the story that I ended up at yesterday was where an older lady came to my store. She wanted to be friends with me. I declined. I came home, drove up in my neighborhood, was being followed, stopped my car a street away from my house. And the woman who was slowly driving by as she rolled down her window was the same woman that came to the store earlier asking to be my friend. It was the same woman. This was a Friday. Ended up going to the police station, making the report, being very terrified. At that point in time, the police were seemed to still be trying to help, etc., etc. Slept over at a hotel, came back to work. This is the Saturday after this happened. That Saturday morning, I got a little bit nervous because I left my kids at home. My kids are older, by the way. So, like, not that older. Like, they were teens at the time. Left my kids home and was sitting on my neighbor's porch. I was new to the neighborhood, and I mean extremely new to the neighborhood. I hadn't met my neighbors yet, and I thought, let me go meet my neighbors just in case let me take their phone number if my kids need like something to happen and I'm at work, you know, they have the neighbor's number, or I can have the neighbor and I can go call. And this is a nice neighborhood. So it's like, not that I should trust the neighbors, but I felt a little bit more comfortable with these neighbors than anything else. These seem to be upstanding people. I'm sitting on my neighbor's porch, playing with her beautiful daughter and her dog. A car drives by on the road. The front window is rolled down, and on the back window that's rolled up, the word bitch is written on that window. Literally like a movie. I cannot make this up. The word bitch is written on the back of that window, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, and I don't want to, this is the first time I'm meeting my neighbor, so I don't want to panic, but again, this is day 2 of officially being followed. I don't say anything to my neighbor, but she sure as hell notices me looking at the car, like in shock, like looking at the car drive by. The person drives by fairly slow. And yeah, from there, people constantly come to the store. The camera phones are always out. They're constantly, I don't know, and I can't verify if they were actually taking pictures or if they just wanted me to think that they were taking pictures. So they're driving by and their cameras are either up like this or the camera's like this. Like, I mean, there were times in the hallways of the mall that other people behind the person taking the picture is looking at the person and looking at me and stunned. And I'm looking at them as well, like, yeah, you see what's happening right now. It got to the point that, you know, we were taking pictures of people taking pictures of us. We put this all in a report. We're talking to the police. My neighborhood was still under construction. So if you've ever been in a neighborhood that's under construction, the builders will have these kind of like these light poles where they have cameras set up, as well as loudspeakers for people trespassing, stealing their materials. They usually have 24-hour security, and they will talk over the loudspeaker, even for people illegally dumping in their dumpsters, and they'll come over the loudspeaker and they'll be like, look, you can't dump here, you can't be on here, this is private property, trespassing, etc. I gave the police all that information, like, at this time, these cars were sitting outside, this was happening, etc., etc. You can contact the builder, they have cameras set up, etc., etc. Nothing came of it. All of a sudden, the police officer that was on my case was on vacation. He wasn't able to. The security footage had expired because the company only keeps it for 10 days. The security footage at the mall only lasts 10 days. They don't have it. Always some excuse. Always some excuse. I'm emailing back and forth with the police. I'm like, can't you guys do something? this is going on. This is the summer of 2022. So I have all these reports from the police. This is the summer of 2022. So last summer, essentially. All of this is occurring. We go into August, it's still happening. We go into September, it's still happening. I'm trying to move on with my life. I'm trying to be strong. The whole time I'm terrified because what the hell is this? I've never heard of anything like this. I'm skipping over a bunch of stuff that I may come back to in videos as I go along. But for now, I just want you guys to get like a general sense of what's going on. All of a sudden, I want to say in either September or October. So in the summer, I had plans anyway of like updating, revamping the website of my store. So we were taking photo shoots and we were like trying to update things and get things set up and whatever. All of a sudden, Walmart Canada contacts me. And they say that they would like to set me up on their marketplace as a vendor. Here I am at home thanking God because I'm like, oh my God, this is such a coincidence. Walmart Canada is contacting me. I might, I'm going to be rich now because, this is what you're assuming, right? You're going to be on Walmart Marketplace. You're going to have your items listed. Oh, you're going to get all these customers, people shopping, etc., etc. I start setting up to be on Walmart. But one of the things that they ask me for is for my financials. So they're asking for a lot of bank statements and stuff like that. So I'm giving out all of this information. They want to know essentially how much do I currently make. They're getting copies of my official documents, etc. And then something hit me out of the blue and I was like, wait a minute. So I ended up calling Walmart Canada just to verify like the person contacting me is like actually a real employee of Walmart. And I verified that they are. And so the only reason I never ended up on Marketplace is because there was something that I was supposed to do as far as like the QR codes or the barcodes or whatever that I didn't end up doing. In my heart and in my mind, thank God I never signed up for it because there was something like suspicious about that whole setup. And let me tell you what I felt about it. Now, in talking about all of this, I'm going to distinguish between what's an actual fact and what I actually feel. So what I suspect happened versus what happened, because I do not want to tell people that things are a fact that I can't verify as a fact. Okay? So I'm not saying for a fact, that Walmart Canada was, the people at Walmart Canada were this, that, and the third. But I just started to suspect that I was being walked down a particular path. And that was the path of going online, my business going online and getting out of the mall. That was the path that I felt like I was being walked down. And I'll go into why I felt that way at some point. Anyway, I never ended up moving forward with Walmart Canada. My contract at Vaughan Mills, I felt like started to be under attack. I did. People started bidding on my store. My leasing agent was showing the space while I was in there. Literally just coming to the space with other people and showing the space, which is bizarre because it's not something that they have to do. My space in Vaughan Mills was like 500 square feet. So literally, when I've gone to see locations that have been occupied by other tenants before in other malls, that's, it just is what it is. It's part of the business. But you don't show the space while tenants are in there like that. So literally what they'll do is they'll give you the unit number, you look on the map, and then you get to go look at you don't see the back of house, you just look at it on a map. So you can see the square footage of the back room, etc., if it has any storage. And you walk into the store yourself as a shopper. So you never know if people are shopping your space. You literally just walk in, you look around, you see like how the setup is, whatever you have to change, what you have to pay for, and you leave. For the leasing agent to show up with you to show the space is like an act of aggression, in my opinion. It's like, especially when you have no issues with them whatsoever, okay? And especially when you're doing well, which we were doing very well, like I had talked about yesterday. So it was weird to me. It was really, really weird to me. At that time, they ended up renewing my lease, but it was such a bizarre like occurrence. And the thing about all of these things is they're small enough that you can put them aside and say, and like what happens for me is when I see red flags, especially when it's not like a bomb blew up, but it's just, I just take a note of it and I put it aside. So this was one of those things where I just took a note of it and I put it aside. I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird, but it is what it is. Didn't end up moving forward with Walmart. People are still following me everywhere. We're coming into the fall season, so I'm doing merchandising for the fall for, I'm doing Christmas shopping because, you know, after Halloween, which is obviously October 31st, we start decorating for Christmas right away. We get people in the Christmas spirit. Some stores are even even as you guys know, going in the mall by like, I want to say mid-October, they're already decorating for Halloween, right? So I remember a specific incident. Mind you, my phones, my devices, my security cameras at home are completely hacked. Just to put a little pin in that, if you guys want, you can go into my stories and I will have tagged with the date. I think it was November 22nd, 2022, the post that I made from a year ago, completely detailing all the things that was happening at the time, which is basically from my camera system at home and my stores being hacked, my cell phones being hacked, my laptop, my internet at all my stores and my house and all of that, like everything. And when I say it was hacked, I don't mean like, I mean, they want you to know it's hacked. That's the whole point. Like, it's a scare tactic. They want you to know. They will change minor things. Minor things will happen. Like you'll get signed out of your social media accounts. Your email password will change where you can't get back in. Just things will happen. Your screen is mirrored. So they will do things while you're on the phone and your fingers are off of the screen completely. Like your screen will just be scrolling up and down. Things like that for you to know that you're being hacked. But can you go to the police and tell them my screen was scrolling by itself? What kind of charge is that they're going to lay, and who are they going to lay that charge on? It's meant to frighten you. And it's meant for you to know that people know what's going on with you. So now you know that if you sign into your bank account, that if you do something with your insurance, whatever it is, that they know everything. Now, side note, see, I'm going to be jumping around, but side note, think about it. If your iPhone gets hacked, most human beings have passwords saved on their iPhone because you're thinking to yourself, I'm not worth enough money for someone to hack me. Like, let's be honest. Most of us think that way, where we're like, I'm not worth, like, yeah, someone could hack my iPhone, but hold me for ransom for what? I'm not worth enough. Like, you're thinking that's something like, you know, celebrities are going to deal with, or politicians or rich people. That's how I thought anyway. So, you know, I have minor passwords saved on my phone. So let's say passwords to like minor apps and stuff like that. Nothing crazy. It's not like I have my banking app password or anything. I think most of us have that on our Apple key. Sorry guys, the sun. So I have like minor passwords saved in my Google, what do you call it? What's that app on iPhone where it will like log your passwords? Whatever that app is, I have it saved. Then I realized not just that, but that's actually linked to your Google account. And most of us just have 1 or 2 or 3 passwords that we just have a variation of that password that we use on everything. So if another password is asking you for that, if another site is asking you for a password, you'll probably just add like a little bit of a change or some numbers or whatever. So one day I go into that and I realize like those people have the password to everything I have. And not only do they have the password to literally everything I have, but they know everything I have just because of that. Pretty much, I think everybody, if you go out and you Google gang stalking, all the stories are the same. All the stories are the same. It's the same thing over and over. It's a literal process. Like there's people that I follow online, one girl in particular, one woman I should say that I follow online. The story follows the same thing. I've had another lady come into my store and tell me that she was gang stalked. Same thing, same story. It is no different. So if somebody comes out and says that they're being gang stalked, there's nothing new about the story. Your devices are hacked, so they know everything you have going on. They follow you everywhere. They know who your friends are. They know who your social network is. And as time goes on, it's like they're walking you down the different stages of basically breaking down your life as you know it. And for the purpose, you don't know why. You don't know why they're doing all of this because nobody has yet approached you and said, hey, this is what we want from you. We're extorting you. We want $100,000 or nothing. Like nobody comes to you and says anything. Anyway, flash forward to, I was opening at the time, this was about September of last year, and I was opening up the store in Oakville. So at the time I was looking for contractors to do work, like just paint the interior of the store, put up my sign, etc., etc. And I come across this one particular contractor, this younger guy. He was pretty rude and not interested in me at the time that I had the first conversation with him. He barely said hello. I said, how are you? He was like, whatever. And the only thing that he said to me, he was like, listen, I can do the work for you, but the only thing is that we can't match the amount of insurance that they want. So usually malls, they have a lot of strict criteria about like what kind of documentation they want from the people doing work in their property. I ended up calling this guy back because the quotes that I was getting for the work were like astronomical. I'm talking about basic work. They wanted $75,000, all kinds of stuff. This should have max costed me $5,000, like max. I ended up getting the job done and maybe paying $1,200 for it. $75,000 quotes, $30,000 quotes. Like it was crazy. Like I was getting to the point where I was like, wait a minute, like does somebody just not like am I just not going to get this done? And I was pushing towards my deadline and it just kind of seemed like things were not going to get done. Anyway, I ended up calling the guy back because he was the youngest guy that I spoke to. And it was a Sunday morning and I was like, hey, listen, I really need to get this work done. This is my budget. I know everybody says stuff like this and you probably don't want to hear this, but this is the work that I need. I don't know if you want to take it on as a side project. Let me tell you how this conversation went, okay? This young man started trying to convince me of why am I opening another store? I should try to be going online. I should try to be selling online. I should get my website done. Then he quoted me, because he had quoted me $10,000. Then he was telling me that he'll do the work for me for free. I was like, really? $10,000 for free? How are you going to do that? He was like, no, I'm just going to get my little Mexican workers to do it. Red flag, red flag. Then he started talking about getting personal. He wants to take me on a date. Can I please send him a picture? Here's where it started getting freaky. It was like he's listing places to go on a date and I'm refusing, but I'm still on the phone for whatever reason. He's listing places where I actually frequent, that I go out to eat. So I'm thinking to myself, this is kind of bizarre because these are like, I'm a little bit different. So the places that I go are not necessarily like popular places in the city, let's say, to go. Then he says to me that he travels what did he say? Every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks, he goes out the country. And I was like, really? Like, to where? He's like, places like Mexico and like Latin America and stuff like that. But he's like, but not to the resorts or anything, to like Mexico City. This is a black guy. He's African, actually. And I'm thinking, and he's like, oh, to go see my friends in Mexico City. And I'm thinking, like, what do you mean friends in Mexico City? That's like me saying, I'm going to go see my friends in, I don't know, like Istanbul, but not in like where they get the surgery done, but like some random place. I found it so weird. And then he was saying other things that raised red flags to me. Like he was saying how he's like given up on love because the girls never seem to end up staying and he doesn't know why, etc., etc. And these things kind of just reminded me of my situation, that I was dating somebody and I was ran out of this person's life. And that never ended up working out. And I remember when I met my ex, he kind of like had given up on love and relationships as well. He had given up on the idea of that. But I'm like, travel to Mexico City and Puerto Rico and like Dominican Republic and etc., etc. And another place that they talk about that frequently comes up in the conversation, I'm jumping around, so we'll get to this and we'll get to, the other people that have mentioned this, is Cali, Colombia. Everybody that comes around has somehow traveled to Cali, Colombia. What's in Cali, Colombia? What is going down in Cali, Colombia that everybody is going to Cali, Colombia? Colombia is not like, in my opinion, a tourist location. Maybe DR is a tourist location. Maybe Cuba is a tourist location, but not Colombia. Colombia seems like a little bit of a dangerous place to me. People say that they travel there to go do surgery and stuff like that. More power to them, but I don't know. All of these things are happening, and I'm kind of putting the pieces together. In the meantime, I'm still like talking to the police, because when I tell you these people are all over me, they're all over me. At the time, like I said, I moved into a new house. I didn't have a stove. I have a really nice barbecue. My barbecue has a grill on the side of it. Pretty powerful barbecue, as a matter of fact. And so I was cooking on the barbecue, and I remember, I kid you not, one day I was outside and a construction worker drove past my house. My fence in my backyard wasn't put up yet. And a construction worker drove past my house with his cell phone up like this, slowly holding the cell phone up. Yo, I couldn't believe it. It was getting out of hand. I couldn't believe it. Like, it was just getting to the point where it was just like, listen, everybody. So like, this is a situation where you're either going to become desperate because they've already made contact with you, right? Yesterday, I told you guys there was somebody that I spoke to from that dating site that just wanted information of like, what street do you live on? Are you close to here? Like, he was making it obvious to me that, yeah, I met you on a dating site, but this is not about dating. Like, I don't have any interest in like getting too close to you or like getting pictures from you or finding out if you look like your picture. Like, I don't have interest in that. I just want to know about you. Okay. We're not sharing like childhood stories at this point. We're not sharing childhood stories back and forth with each other. I'm tolerating the conversation. Like, even when I was like, hey, we should meet up. I should meet you. It took him by surprise. He's like, yeah, like, I'll let you know, type of thing. It wasn't like, yeah, I'm eager. Like, it wasn't any of that. So because this person has made contact and because this overly aggressive behavior is occurring, you know who to contact when you get tired of this terrifying behavior. That's the point. You know who to call. You know who to be like, listen, I know you're behind all of this that's going on. Like, what is this? Okay. Because since making contact with this person is when the crazy behavior starts. Now, when you're going through situations like this, you need to be alert. You need to be able to connect the dots. If stuff like this is happening, I suggest you start documenting things immediately and not digitally. Okay? Get a notebook, put dates and times, and start writing down Thursday, November, blah, 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 made contact with such and such. Or even if you have approximate dates, because you might not catch on right away, but they are making sure that you notice. It's not a coincidence. You're not a genius for figuring out that this only happened after you made contact with this person. This person's doing this on purpose so that you know, okay? So that when you get desperate of this stuff going on and you get tired, you call them back. This is exactly what happened when I started getting freaked out. So the cell phones are hacked. I know that. I go out and buy another cell phone, another iPhone. I get a new phone number. The same day I sit there, I change all my email passwords. I change everything. I take my time. I thought about this. I thought this through to get a new cell phone. The same freaking night, literally, that I put in the new passwords, the thing got hacked again immediately, like the same night. I got tired. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. Like, I literally fell to the floor in my bathroom, like crying. Like, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is ridiculous. Because if that cell phone gets hacked, then I'm pretty much out of options. Like, I'm trapped. And you know what's crazy is they hacked my Instagram. The same Instagram I'm talking to you guys on right now, they hacked it. They hacked my Instagram and signed me on Instagram to another Instagram. And that Instagram, the name on the Instagram was No Way. I think it was either No Way Out 1019. No Way Out or either No Way 1019. One of the two. Now, side note. I pray a lot, and my relationship with God has been years and years and years in the making. Like it's not like my relationship with God has gone on for a very long time. I'm a very spiritual person, and also my spiritual beliefs are unique. Okay, and I don't feel any type of way about being honest about it. I'm not Christian. I don't pray to Jesus. I don't have a problem with Jesus at all, or Christians. I still listen to Christian pastors every now and again. I still listen to like preaching in church. It's the same line of beliefs, but I don't only believe in Christianity. I definitely, a lot of my beliefs are stemmed in, African beliefs. So I definitely believe in my ancestors. I pray to my ancestors. I talk to my ancestors, passed on loved ones. That's very big for me. So I have all of this. I'm very big in trusting my intuition. I'm very big in looking for the signs of like God communicating with me and all of this good stuff. All right. And I listen. When God talks, I listen. Even me doing these lives right now, I feel like this is what God wants me to do. All right. And I believe, and I don't just believe, it is what it is, period, that the only reason that I've gotten out of this situation is because of my faith. The only reason I haven't lost my mind is because of my faith. Okay. And I take a little bit from everywhere because I feel like every religion has something that it can offer. Okay. Whether it's Hinduism, whether it's Buddhism, whether it's Greek mythology, I feel like all religions are telling a different version of the same story. This is very important to my story moving forward, especially for people going through this right now. This is the most important part of what the wisdom that I'm going to impart on anybody going through this. So at the time, I'm praying and I'm really like, I'm calling on God now and I'm like, listen, I don't know what this is, but I need you to take control of the situation because I've never seen anything like this. Okay. And it's odd because I can't remember. I'll be honest with you guys. I can't remember. No, this is important. I skipped a part of the story earlier. These people hired a prostitute to be my friend while I was still in the relationship with the ex. Okay? This girl came to my store, bought a fur coat for $1,000. It was a $1,600 fur coat. I don't know how she worked me down to about $1,000, no tax. And she purchased the fur coat. And from there, she ended up kind of like finagling her way in us talking. Now, I kind of felt what was happening, but she wasn't so much love bombing as she was just taking her time with it. Now, I'm a very friendly person. If you've ever come to my store, I'm a friend. This can happen to anyone. Everybody could tell you. You guys all know, have people in your life that you ended up being friends with them because you went to the same school, because you shared, you know, your locker was besides theirs in high school, whatever. And slowly but surely, you guys ended up talking. So this is how this ended up happening. At the time, I didn't know what she was. I just saw her as a girl who had a lot of surgery. She traveled a lot, like a video vixen girl. And I'm like, you know, a little nerdy, quiet person. I'm not street smart at the time. So I don't really know the signs and symptoms of what to look for and like how people are and who's who and whatever the case is. But at the time, it's like, she kind of, I felt like when I looked back at it, was there to kind of break up the relationship between me and him, or make me suspicious that he was cheating on me, or to create an illusion that he was being unfaithful in a way. And I say this because she would ask so many questions about him, or like just little things would happen. Anyways, I'll go into that later. But I remember she said to me one time, because my car needed servicing, she said, I have a friend who has a shop downtown. You should go see my friend to get your car fixed. I'm thinking to myself, my dealership is like down the street from me. I know people there. I'm comfortable going there. I know my service guy who's very good to me. Why would I go downtown to go see someone? This girl would always like try to give me like used clothing, or like a Starbucks cup that she's used, or like just weird stuff. But again, like I said, these things are not huge red flags. They're just little weird things. It's not nothing to make you uncomfortable or raise a red flag. Anyway, the guy I meet on the dating app, look at this. The guy I meet on the dating app has the same name as her friend with the dealership downtown where I should get my car serviced. And the guy I meet on the dating app also has a dealership downtown that's asking me to get my car serviced down there. Same guy. In my opinion, same guy. So anyway, right now, I can't remember exactly how. Did I Google him, or did he tell me he had a dealership when we were talking on the phone? He didn't have a dealership. He just had like a shop. Did I Google him, or did he tell me about his shop? I can't remember. I don't want to lie right now. So I can't remember how I knew. Maybe I might have Googled him. Maybe I might have Googled his name. But anyway, the night where I got the phone hacked again, I woke up that next morning and my mind said, you're going to have to go down to the shop. I didn't want to call because I didn't want to even run the risk of not having that conversation. I wanted to just show up. So I get into my car and I just drive down to his location. And I didn't want to just storm into this person's place of business. So I'm outside of his shop. I'm shaking like a leaf because I haven't eaten in like a day or two because I'm really stressed out about what's going on right now. I call him from right outside. I'm shaking like a leaf. I haven't slept. I haven't eaten. And I'm like, can you please come outside? I want to talk to you. And he shows up and he's being all like, in my opinion, fake innocent. And he's kind of like, well, you know, I don't know what's going on, but it's not me. But why don't you come inside? But why don't we go out for lunch and whatever? I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is like a mobster, if this is like somebody in some crazy gang or whatever. Like, I have no clue. I am freaking terrified. This person goes, let's go for lunch. Don't worry. They're trying to make me comfortable, but I'm scared. I don't know what is going on. I'm sitting in the passenger seat of this person's car and I'm thinking, Lord, don't let me get kidnapped. Don't let me get murdered and thrown into a ditch. I have kids. Please, like, shaking. I can't eat. This person's comfortably eating in front of me and I can't eat because I know I'm sitting across from the enemy. I know that. And I know I just have to go along with this because I have to find out what's going on. What do these people want from me? What's the angle here? Anyways, I feel like I have to keep in contact with this person. I have to kind of keep this person around, even though I know what is going on, or what that they are not my friend. This is not someone I'm dating. This is not about dating. And they know that I know. It's a thin veil of secrecy, of denial. It's a thin veil. This person is what I would call a handler. In my opinion, is a handler. That's how I see it. Because this person knows that I know what's going on. This person wants to give advice on every part of my life. This person wants to ask questions. If I go to somewhere to eat at a food court and I pay with my debit and I buy something weird, they'd be like, hey, did you have pho for lunch today? This is literally a real story. Did you have pho for lunch today? Yeah. Oh, you eat that? How do you know what I ate today for lunch? Those are the kind of things that they do to kind of let you know that you're being monitored every day, all day. They will just blatantly talk to you about things that they're not supposed to know about. What you ate, what you bought, where you went, who you spoke to. And this is an ongoing thing. But he's almost serving kind of like he's coaching you through the stress of what you're dealing with. He's coaching you through the stress. So it's like when you're freaking out and you're supposed to go make a police report, they're like, no. Like, that's not going to make sense. Why would you make a police report? Because you know what's going to come of that. Or no. Don't go to the doctors and go report that you're having stress because you know they're just going to put you on medication. Don't do this. Don't do that. And it's kind of like, in my case, we're both assessing each other because I need to know what's going on here and I want to know what his angle is and what's going on. And he's essentially assessing me. And I know he's assessing me. What are my weak points? What stresses me out? How do I react to pressure? And when I say what are my weak points, that's going to come up later about why they're assessing what your weak points are, why they want to get to know you personally. That's supposed to be what the so-called friends position is, because this is a person who's supposed to be able to influence you, somebody who you're supposed to trust. Mind you, it's an older person who has no attraction to me whatsoever, who I met on a dating site but doesn't want to date me. And this person is, in my mind, either married or in a live-in relationship because of the way how they run off the phone at certain times. So you'll kind of hear the door at their house open and they're like, okay, I gotta talk to you later, and they hang up immediately. So it's very obvious to me that this person is married or in some type of a relationship. Okay, so I know for a fact that this is not any dating situation, none of the above. All right. This person also asks questions about like investments that I have. They don't ask, hey, so do you happen to have any investments? It'd be like, hey, so your investment over here that you've had, how long have you had it? The way that the questions are posed are very, very, very specific. Like, it's meant to say, I know what you have. I know where you have it. I know what it's about. Because they've already looked into you. Like, I feel like they take a lot of time to look into you before they even approach you. Like the time to research you, to research your business, to research what's going on is probably, it's very strategic. If you're being approached like that and you're already being followed, then you are already at the point. You are already at the point where they've looked into you. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I'm in a situation that I decide that I want nothing more to do with this person at a certain point. I already know that I'm being triangulated, okay? The customers that are coming to my store are not necessarily customers that I've gone out and marketed to myself. These are people, or these are women that are not necessarily the demographic that I have, that I've put myself, in a position to reach out to. The age range, everything, it just doesn't fit, the clothing that I'm selling. So I already feel as though I'm kind of stuck. This is at the point where I made the post. So I made that post, end of November of 2022. Anyways, the post is up. People will see. You guys can go back and you can see the post and you can scroll through it and you can see the person that I'm talking about as well. So I make the post. And at this point, I've decided that I'm cutting all ties with this person. I don't want to talk to them. I've kind of moved away from that. I'm pretty much at this point praying, meditating, trying to move forward with my life. And I think the most significant thing that I can say about this is I've taken a stance of slowly moving forward I'm slowly moving away from being scared of the situation and mentally and emotionally taking control of my situation as much as I can. I'm making reports. I'm putting posts out on the page. I'm trying to move forward with my business. I have 2 locations now that are keeping me very occupied. I think the most significant thing that I can say to someone, well, it's not the most significant thing. There's many significant things that I can say. If you are already at the point where you're going through this, if you have a business, and I'm talking to business owners because I'm a business owner and that's who I can speak to. I can maybe say a couple things about people who are employed, but that wasn't my personal experience. I would only be surmising. They've already become your customers, or they've already, especially if you have a social media influence or market, or your marketing is heavily influenced from social media, they already know kind of who your customers are. So they're already probably developing relationships with your actual bona fide customers, or some of your customers are probably belong to, whatever this is, or they're already putting money on your books. To be honest with you, they're already putting money on your books, which means that they represent a percentage of your sales. I believe that they like to slowly but surely represent 100% of your sales. Now, I don't know what the process is, how they chase away your bona fide customers, but slowly your actual customers stop coming to your business, and all of a sudden, all of your customers become other people that you are not marketing to. All of a sudden, your Instagram ads or your ads are doing way better than they've ever done. So every time you have an ad, you're getting hundreds of new followers that are basically not interacting with you. You're not bonding with these customers the same way you bonded with your old customers. They're just liking pictures and they're viewing your stories. Okay? That's all they're doing. Liking pictures and viewing your stories. So you're feeling like things are going pretty well. You can't really tell what's going on. Your business has, you're getting money in your business, etc. All of that is happening to give you the illusion that it's business as usual. When in actuality, and you don't have genuine customers. You do not have genuine business. You will find out later, much later, that you don't have genuine business. That's really important for people to know. You have to see these signs. You know, the earlier, if I had known and seen that earlier, if I had known what this process was about, I would have been able to take control of the situation maybe a bit earlier. But like I said, I had to go through that process. That's very significant, because circle back to a year later, now I'm finding out that my customers are not real customers. There's a certain way that I would interact with my customers in my live, not just my lives, because we didn't have Instagram Live back then, but there's a certain way that I would interact with my customers in my stories, like, you know, kind of asking for feedback of, guys, like, what do you think we should purchase? Like, what do you guys want to see, etc., etc. If I made those kinds of posts, that was not happening. Those people in the stories were not there to interact. I don't even think those people were like even viewing the stories. I think that those people just knew, like, I'm not the only one, obviously, so they probably have to follow so many businesses and just like a post or view a story or whatever just to get the person's views up. By the time you realize you don't have customers, your views, if you guys go on my page right now, my viewership is like 1 like, 0, like it's just me liking, or it's very few likes, no interactions, no comments. And if I go back to posts that have been archived from like way back when I first started my business, I had relationships with customers. I had relationships with people I knew. I knew if I put things out, like, you know, a business has been around long enough that you should have a book of business. You should have people that you, like, customers that are like your regulars. They're going to return. They come to you. They request things. Those customers were gone. We started noticing when those customers were gone, were leaving. And we started noticing when customers seemed to have, like, our bona fide customers seemed to be kind of dissipating for a while. But I didn't think anything of it at the time. It was like a slow replacement. As customers were leaving, new customers were coming, and those customers were coincidentally being difficult. So it was like, I was almost like relieved in a sense to see like those customers leave and new customers come in and etc. Which now I realize was all orchestrated. It was all how it was supposed to go down, is what I'll say. Fast forward to today, I'm at a point with my business where I feel like my old business is essentially gone. I don't sell the same type of clothing anymore, thank God. So I don't have the same type of customers. We don't sell clothing, clubwear anymore. I feel like my brand has been destroyed in Toronto. I have no idea why. I have no idea what kind of things were said about us. I have no idea what kind of, you know, there has always felt to be tension between our business and 1 or 2 other businesses in Toronto, that I feel like the tension is manufactured. As a matter of fact, one of the girls who has tension with me, I helped that girl buy her first house. I was the one that she came to that helped her get her first mortgage. And that relationship fell apart, and I have no idea. She ended up becoming friends with another store that had an issue with me that developed out of thin air. No idea how we ended up having issues between the two of us. One store, we didn't even sell the same things. Actually, all 3 of us never really sold the exact same items or exact same clothing. Like, I sold clubwear, one sold a different type of clothing, and the other sold a different type of clothing. But we just had the same demographic. We had the same market share. This was all we had in common. For whatever reason, the 2 of them are tight. They buddied up together. And it was just a weird thing. And part of the thing with me, and I don't know if I should change this or not, is if I have conflict with people, I tend to think if I don't play into it, if I don't engage, if I don't feed into it, it should just go away. because a lot of the times I find that when someone wants to have a problem with you, they're going to have a problem with you regardless, whether or not you contact them and you're like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but I don't have an issue with you. I hope we're good. It hasn't worked out in the past. So I tend to leave that alone. Where am I in this story? So long story short, I guess I'm at the point of Christmas time. Yes, we're going to get to Christmas time. So I haven't spoken to this person since ends of November. We get to exactly 1 month later in December 22nd. I want to say December 22nd or December 23rd. This guy just shows up back at my store out of the blue. I'm skipping a lot of stuff in the middle. I'm skipping stuff like I knew my accounts were hacked. And so I would kind of have like, I wouldn't say back and forth because no one was responding to me, but I would post tweets that I know was directed at him because I know he was the one behind me being hacked, etc., etc., etc. I'm skipping all that stuff. I figure that stuff is going to come up as I go on in this story. But essentially, he knows now that I'm not necessarily a victim of this situation. Not that I'm not a victim of the situation, but I'm not sitting in bed crying. I kind of have a defensive attitude towards it. So he shows up back to my store. He looks high as a kite. He looks completely looped out. And he shows up and he doesn't want to say, hey, I know what's going on. I'm sorry, etc. He's just showed up. And he just wants to like start back where he left off type of thing. And I'm thinking to myself, is this guy upset? Is this guy crazy? So I step out of my store to go talk to him on the hallway on the side where the bathroom is. And I'm like, listen, what more do you guys want from me? I don't speak to this guy anymore. You guys should leave me alone. I have nothing to do with this person. He gets defensive. He's like, I have nothing. You think I have anything to do with the situation that you're talking about? Which is kind of messed up because I'm making police reports. And at this point, this guy is supposed to be responsible for, in my opinion, recruiting me to sell drugs. That's what this is all about in my head. All the signs are pointing to I'm supposed to be on a plane, hopping on a plane to go sell drugs. To go mule, to be a mule, not sell drugs. Not like on the street selling drugs, to go be a mule. I'm skipping other things, and I'm skipping this on purpose. There's other things that I can say, that I'm just glossing over. It will come up probably later on in other things that I'm going to talk about. I think that this guy was supposed to recruit me, and the recruiting is going horribly. I am not falling in line. Not only am I not following line, I don't think it takes that long to recruit people. I think that it's very easy for somebody to come around most people and be friends with them and love bomb them and buy them something or put some money in their business. And before you know it, they're like, hey, you want to go to Jamaica? You want to go to Colombia? You want to go to wherever? And the person's like, yeah, sure. I already had the same girl that I said, the same prostitute that they hired, which I find out she's a prostitute much after, and I'll go into how actually a customer came into my store because I was posting this girl on my social media and said it verbatim, like who this girl is. And this girl was getting suspicions that people were telling me something or people were saying something, and she kind of came and said that it was a rumor that people had made up about her. But anyways, it was pretty confirmed because she's pretty popular in the city. If I said her name, you guys would know who she is, or people watching this could just literally Google and kind of know who she is and what she's about. Anyway, I remember when I was talking to this girl, sorry for bouncing around in the timeline, guys, but I remember when I was talking to this girl, listen to this. This girl offered me to take a trip on a private jet to Nigeria. Not a private jet to Mexico or to the Bahamas or somewhere, Nigeria. And I'm thinking, how much gas do they have to put on a plane to get it to Nigeria? Secondly, at the time was very mumpy. And when I mean my mumpy is I was chunky. I wasn't paying attention to like my wardrobe, how I was dressing. I was literally just going to work and coming back home. I looked a mess. I looked like a soccer mom, but worse. Like I was working 12-hour days. Like my outfits weren't coordinated. I looked a mess, period. I was fat, etc. So at the time, this is about the time where for a year, 2 or 3, we started seeing influencers on private jets. So this is last year. So you know when you see influencers on private jets and you're like, wait, how are they dating these billionaires? Or like, I always used to wonder, like, a private jet is like a billionaire type of activity. Like, how do these girls end up on these private jets? I remember asking her, I was like, what do I have to do? And she's like, nothing you don't want to. And I was like, okay. Like I said, she has surgery done. Her boobs are done. Her stomach's done. Her butt's done. Her lips are done. Her lashes, her nails are always done. She always has designer bags, this, that, and the third. I don't fit in. It doesn't make sense on why me and this girl are even friends. So I'm thinking, and her other friends look the same as well. So I'm thinking, what am I going to be on the private jet for? To like serve everybody cupcakes? Or like, what am I going to be here for? Who's on the jet? Who are the other guys? But at that time she invited me, I really thought that this girl is trying to hook me up with some type of pimp situation or some type of escort situation. I'm not thinking anything outside of that. So she gives the invitation and I'm like, absolutely not, because I'm a grown woman and I know that I haven't done anything to deserve to be on a private jet. Like, however many seats on this jet, I just don't even fit into that scenario. I know myself. Like, what am I going to do in Nigeria of all places? Like, I don't know anybody there. Like, it's not, what am I going to do down there? And it's not something that I feel safe to just travel with people and, you know, have a family, etc., etc. This was the previous summer. So me and this girl had already stopped talking. We're talking about now, December of last year. He shows up at my store. I guess I kind of freak him out by accusing him of like asking why he's still on me. Because again, like I said, this guy's not coming around to date. This guy's not coming around to sleep with me. This guy's not coming around to extort me, ask for money, like rob my house, nothing. Why is he coming around? It doesn't make sense. I've already told the police, it's in all my police reports, that I believe I'm being recruited for something. Nobody's giving me information. Nobody's confirming anything to me. Nobody's talking to me. I realize I'm on my own. No help is coming. I've made police reports. Nobody wants to be involved in whatever's... Y'all, let me tell you something. Do you know how bad it was? When the police finally agreed to take I'm talking about local police now. When the police finally agreed to take a report, they just took the report because it was like they were obliging me to take the report. When I started getting, and it was like, I'm taking the report, but I'm kind of shooing you away. When they finally decided, I guess at a certain point of taking the report, I started saying, like, I was pleading with the officer. I'm like, please, like, I need help. The look of terror and fear on the officer's face when I said, I feel like I'm being recruited and this is drug related. That man damn near ran out of the room. Let me tell you something. It's on camera, because those rooms that they interview you on, there's a camera in the room. It is on camera. The man almost recoiled back into his own skin, got so scared, and damn near ran out of the room, got rid of me, and they've been dodging me, making reports ever since. They don't even want the police report to be made. Imagine you're a woman and the police do not want to take the report. Like, it's looking like the police are scared. This is the beginning of the nightmare. This is December of 2022. come January, a whole new nightmare, a whole new ball game. I'm going to kind of cut it short here because I don't want these to be too long. I've kind of been on it for a while. I just want to say you can only imagine what I've been through for the fact that I can straight up make this video, because this is terrifying. A lot of me talking about this is kind of reliving this, okay? I think that there are people that have been gang stalked and they still don't know why. Even though I think there's different reasons why you're gang stalked, okay? I think there's a difference between the people gang stalking you and the people who paid to have you gang stalked, okay? So everybody's situation is different, and you gotta kind of figure out, why is this happening? Who paid for this to happen to me? Because somebody has to pay for it. I also think that there's gang stalkers in every city of every country. I think it's a very undercover type of situation. I think it's very well coordinated, and I think that police departments know about it and they don't want to deal with it, because then them and their families have to go through it. I think that they take over your life. They surround you, and they essentially get, it's either you, like the Instagram page said, no way out. So it's either you're driven to mental instability, so that if you end up having to go to court or make a report, no one will believe you because you're mentally unstable, or you can't go to work. You can't either go to your job or handle your business or whatnot, or you succumb to whatever it is. Like if you're being recruited for something, that you succumb to being recruited because you can't take it, or you're bankrupt, or you have no more money, etc., and they're waiting you out for you to have no more money. So you come crawling back and they hand you the solution, the golden ticket, which we will replace your income, whatever your income is. They're not going to offer you more than you were making before. If you were making $2,000 a month, I don't know how they work it out, but to me, it didn't seem like they were going to offer more. They're going to offer you just enough to pay your bills and to keep you in position. Because what they were talking about, I make this much to travel to Mexico City, whatever, that number is exactly the number I was making. It wasn't more, it wasn't less, okay? So I'm going to end it right there. As far as the part of my story, I'm really sorry, guys. I'm trying to sit in the sun so that, my face could be lit up, but it's kind of being counterproductive right now. I'm going to kind of leave it here as far as like my personal story as to what has happened. I'm going to pick up the rest of my personal story from there. I'm going to post this to my YouTube page, and you guys can watch from my YouTube and just kind of at your own leisure, just kind of watch it, share it with people by all means. If somebody's going through it, if you know people that have a similar story, I'm not doing this to go viral. I feel like had I had somebody kind of explaining to me what's going on at the time, I would have needed that. And as time goes on, I'll share other little nuggets, kind of to do with how I did not lose my mind, because this is 1,000% meant for you to lose your mind. Okay. A part of that is talking about like my spiritual beliefs, which I'm not going to say is a big part, but the main part of how I got through this. So people do not have to subscribe to believing in what I believe in, but I definitely believe that what I believe in is the reason why I've walked away. But yeah, I'll leave it there. If anybody has any questions, I prefer you not DM me. Any questions you can ask on YouTube in the comments section or whatever the case is. Yeah, and we can kind of go from there. And yeah, I just wanted to add, by the way, so I'm not taking DMs right now. So if you guys have we've kind of made it where every question you pretty much can answer by going on the website. Everything is available for sale online. And yeah, it's free shipping, and we will ship within 24 to 48 hours. Most dresses are on sale, 50% off right now. And I'm definitely taking some time to myself, post this situation. I just don't want anyone in my energy right now. I don't want to really deal with anyone face to face. And definitely thinking about how I'm moving forward with my life. So that being the case, I will be back regularly with a video, with more videos on a fairly regular basis to kind of finish the story. So right now in the timeline, we are December 2022, and we have the whole of 2023 to go through. So thank you for whoever has stayed tuned in this whole time. Yeah, it'll be on YouTube, and I'll post it fairly soon. Have a good day.